So I actually get a lot of questions on how I do my keybinds. I have about 60 keybinds, maybe more or less, I'm not sure, but around that. And it's surprising how many questions I get. I thought everybody keybinds by now, but you may keybind, but do you know how to do it effectively is a thing. And having effective keybinds and sensible keybinds, I think really makes it easy. So there are a few things first. First things first. If you press Escape and go to key bindings, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not keyboard turning. So I use W, A, and D as my movement keys. Some people use E, S, D, F. Some people use S to move backwards, but I use W to move forward. I don't bind, turn backwards, move backwards. So I just unbind S. I have those as binds. Turn left and turn right are default set to A and D, and strafe left and strafe right are default set to Q and E. Now a lot of people never even touch this, but you should, because if you unbind turn left and turn right, first of all, you're not going to keyboard turn, which is good in PvP because you just do things a lot faster. And furthermore, you free up two new keybinds, or two new keys to bind things to. So I suggest putting strafe left and strafe right to A and D. But at the very least, you need to unbind turn left and turn right. A couple other things just about this is you can also set your focus without making a macro just by here. Focus target, I have that set to Shift Z, so that's how I focus targets. And there are other things like I use C as a keybind, for example. By default, that brings up your character pane. Well, you can remap that in that keybindings interface and just use C as keybinds. Now I use a bar mod. I use Dominoes is the one I use. I'll put that in the description. There's also Bartender, which is another good one. But I've just used Dominoes for a long time. You don't even have to use one. But I just do. It makes things easier for me. Now, so the thing about having good keybinds is you want to have keys. You want to use keys that are close to to your movement keys. So I use W, A, and D. So I'm going to use keys that are close to W, A, and D. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't go past 5 because I don't have like really small hands, and I could hit like 6 or 7 while keeping my hands on. But it is more of a stretch. 8, 9, 0, and past that, you don't want to use those. That's default, and I see so many people will use that. Like they'll have like an important ability put on like 9 or something, and like I don't know how you use that while staying mobile. So have keys close to W to your movement keys. So I'll just show you real quick. I used 1 through 5, Shift 1 through 5, F1 through F4, Q with Shift and Control. All these have Shift and Controls modifiers. E, F, G, S. I have a tilde, which is left of the 1 button on a standard keyboard. V, C. I have my mouse wheel up and down. You can also do Shift mouse wheel up, Shift mouse wheel down. I have that bound to like my camera and stuff. R, T. These are my arena macros. Target 1, 2, 3, and X and Z. Z is what I put my trinket to. So those are my keybinds. I'm going to list everything in the description, like what I have, if you're curious. But oh yeah, and I also have my pet controls as control. I only use control 1 and 2 mostly. So anyways, I think what's important to remember about keybinds is to put your most important spells on the easiest to reach keys. So for me, 1 through 5 is very easy to reach. Shift 1 through 5 is a little harder. Q is easy to reach. E is easy to reach. An example of a keybind that's a little harder to reach is maybe like Rain of Fire, like Control R. I don't use Rain of Fire that often. Another one is Dark Intent. I have that bound, but it's I'm not going to use Dark Intent too often in the middle of battle. I have that bound to Control tilde. but my main abilities I have bound to easy to reach keys. Like Banish I have as F4. I'm not really going to be using that as often as say Howl of Terror. F1 for me is easier to hit than F4. So the other thing, so that's about easy to reach keys. The other thing is to put. So I think if you're starting from scratch or trying to redo your keybinds, it's important to put similar abilities on similar keybinds, just so for the sake of memory. I know I break some of the rules here, like my fear is 1, my focus fear is S. That has nothing to do. It says habit. Fear's always been 1 for me, and when I decided to make a focus fear macro back in like Burning Crusade, I just had nowhere to put it. But yeah, so like just for example, like I have Death Coil as Shift Q, Focus Death Coil as Control Q, Soul Swap is E, Focus Soul Swap is Shift E. Spell Lock is F, Focus Spell Lock is F, regular Spell Lock is Shift F. I have curses on like C. I have my Banes on V. I have Curse of Weakness on Control V. I don't know why, but yeah, I have my pets on my Mousewheel over here, and I have my armors on Ctrl X, Ctrl Z, things like that. So just like as a pattern, like things that things that I use a lot and things that I need access to quickly, I put on easy to hit keys. I want to hit my trinket, or I want to hit my trinket fast. Z's an easy hit, an easy to hit key for me. Is this guy trying to gank me? This guy wants some. Okay, he's gonna die. So Hellstone, I want to hit that fast. Changing armors, not as important, but Hellstone I want to hit right away. So I have that as X. That's easy to hit for me. Okay, so and the other thing is like just when I was doing my keybinds, I just put kind of similar spells also. Like so, say like 1 through 5, with the exception of Fear, I should really probably change this. Maybe put like Drain Life or something. Are my attacks. And then Shift 1 through, Shift 3, Shift 4. These are like mana resource or whatever, sharded resource regenerations. I don't know, just things like that. F is always my interrupt key on like any character that I play. I have like Rebuke on my Paladin and like Silencing Shot on my Hunter. So just things like that. G is like, abilities that kite for me. Exhaustion in my port. So yeah. I think, I don't know, it makes sense. Like, my pet attack is Control 1, my pet retreat is Control 2. Just keep it as simple as you can is what I would recommend. And you don't have to start off with like 50, 60 keybinds. Start off with 10 or 20. You don't need to go full out right away and just add them. But yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to cover. If you have any comments or suggestions, let me know, and I'd be happy to help.